Hey everyone, this is Frugal Panda here with a review and tour of the Pena Palace and its grounds. Pena Palace is located in Sintra, Portugal, and this is a 2023 visit to this area. As you can see, the drive-through, it was a cloudy, overcast day. This is in January, but by no means is it really cold, or honestly, it may be chilly by people in Portugal or California standards. But we're from Colorado, so it was beautiful. We wore basically rain jackets and a long sleeve shirt, and we were okay. The drive there was simple. Portugal's a very easy country to get around with, very nice transportation systems and highways and byways. Now, warning: if you're going to walk there, it is a actual uphill walk the whole way. So you will be walking uphill this entire way. But it was cool. If we did it again, we probably wouldn't. We'd actually catch one of the tuk-tuks we saw going around. It costs like 20 euros or something like that, and it'll take you all the way to the castle entrance where you can buy your tickets. So, but we didn't. We didn't know. We had never been here. So, but we did, and it was actually really cool because we got to see the town, the neighborhoods, and it was actually pretty awesome in regards to that. So, so here's the last part of the walk. Also, being mindful when you're in Portugal, a lot of areas wear non-slippery shoes because a lot of stuff is cobblestone because it's easier to slip. The prices at the actual castle were pretty cheap. I thought they were fair. We did go on a holiday weekend. So on a holiday weekend, of course, there were lots of people. Someone from Portugal could tell us if that's the norm, if there's lots of people to go see the Pena Palace. And the thing with the Pena Palace in Central Portugal is it's a World Heritage Site too. And this actual castle itself has been around since, I believe, since the Moors had conquered Portugal, and was updated, and King Fernando II lived here and all this stuff like that, which was really cool to see. Now, one of the main things, we really liked the castle. The castle was cool, but what I really liked, to be honest with you, was the actual castle grounds. And even though this was a holiday weekend and there was lots of people here, and there were lots of people, we waited in line for a minute, and really a lot of the wait was someone up there that really was taking too long. And finally, I think it was an English couple. The gentleman said to her, "Hey, our Australian, hurry up! What do you get out of the line?" Because they were having problems. So you need to get out of line and fix that. You're holding everyone up. But beyond that, it moved pretty smooth once you got in there. I figured it'd be packed the whole way, and it really wasn't, to be honest with you, because the castle grounds are so large. And one warning: when you get your tickets, depending on what time of year it is, how many people are there. So I want to say we got there at noon, but our actual assignment to see the castle was at 3:30 or 3 p.m. So we had like a 3 or 4 hour window to burn, if I remember right. So first I was really irritated about it, and then we started walking around the grounds. And to be honest with you, we spent that entire time walking around, checking out stuff, all the structures, the pretty trails. It was real peaceful up there. And like I said, even though there was lots of people in there, it wasn't congested on the castle grounds. A lot of these people, and they probably went online and actually got their tickets. Um, Probably waited in line, didn't do as much walking. If you have any type of mobility issues, just be mindful. Be mindful because it can be slippery in places here because of the cobblestone and the bricks and all that good stuff. So just be mindful with that. But I saw all types of people, young, older, oldest, lots of folks up here checking out the castle. I really thought it was cool. Bathrooms. There's a bathrooms when you get into right into after you get admission and you go through the gates. There's bathrooms right there. I recommend, if you've not been here, and if some people have small bladders, some people like to have bathrooms around so they can use them when they want to. Uh, Go ahead and utilize those until you figure out where others is. I'll have a piece in the video that tells you where another set of bathrooms are there. And then in the castle themselves, there's bathrooms because there's a restaurant in there too. So that's cool. Um, with that being said, like I said, the castle grounds are great. This actual palace was really cool, and they kept a lot of the interior of it so a lot of the interior is still intact because of the Portuguese nobility fled to like Brazil back in 1910 after they had the revolution there. So the furniture, stuff like that, it's still there. So that was really cool to see once you get into actual castle itself. What's cool is you can see other castles too while you're walking around the grounds. So you can there's a video of a Moorish or a picture of an actual Moorish castle sitting up on a hill. This castle itself has actually been around for since the Middle Ages itself, but it was updated and everything for later Portuguese monarchs and stuff like that, which was really cool. And if you go on their website, it actually tells you they limit a number of visitors to the palace, and tickets are sold with 30-minute entry times. There's no time restrictions on the actual park itself. So let me say that again. So if you get in here, you see the castle right away. Don't think you have to leave. No, you can walk around the castle grounds after you're done or before. So there's no time limit on that, and you'll understand if you go here because when we went, the actual castle itself was packed. So when you see my actual videos of us walking around checking out things, and once we get into the interior, my videos seem short, a little bit off a little bit, it's because there's people behind me, so I can't just stand there. I'm not that type of person where, you know, people stop and just take a picture in front of you and basically stop everybody behind them. No, I'm trying to keep it moving too because there's people behind me trying to see things too. So, but when you get out into the actual park, or I think it's, I don't want to mess it up, but it's basically Pena Park, the palace grounds. When you get into that, then there's not a lot of people like that. There's people out there, but you can walk down trails and maybe see someone in the distance because it's really large. And you got to check out the different buildings that are there and architecture. The green, I saw redwoods. That was the thing. You'll see in the video how I saw Oregon redwoods there. I was like, what? Oregon redwoods? Yeah, they imported them back in, I think, the 1800s. So they're like a couple hundred years old, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, you could spend your entire day walking around actual castle grounds themselves, which is honestly really cool. Like I said, I enjoyed it even more than I did the castle, to be honest with you. I've seen castles before, and they're cool. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that as something bad, but just the peacefulness of walking around out in nature was pretty awesome itself. And this was, like I said, it was a windier day. Um, did it rain any? It might have rained a little bit on and off, if I remember right. But like I said, if you see us in the video, we're all wearing like just rain jackets. We're not wearing anything heavy. And the entire time we were actually in Portugal, we didn't take a regular coats and stuff. No, we took like one or two long sleeve shirts and then our rain jackets, and we were good to go. And this was early January when we were actually at this castle and everything. Um, One thing you'll see in this video too is it switches between my phone and the GoPro. So once you go into the actual castle itself, there's no flash. So I just switched to my GoPro, not even worry about it or anything like that. Because if you don't know, if you go to museums or you go to anything with historical objects, flashes like bright flashes from lights and stuff that can actually damage, stuff that's older and stuff. So yeah, you got to be mindful of that. Now, when you're walking around here, just take your time. There's no rush. A lot of it's uphill, some of it's downhill. A lot of good views to see, a lot of stuff to take pictures of, a lot of things to check out. There's a lot of explanations on the signage in regards to what the buildings were for, which was great. And let me remind you, this is a World Heritage Site, but actually the Portuguese, I don't know if they have a president or prime minister. I believe it's the prime minister, but regardless, a lot of times they have a lot of events here. Like they probably do their State of the Unions, meet foreign dignitaries here. They do different things actually at the castle. So it still gets utilized. It's a World Heritage Site, and they've done a really great job of keeping this castle up. And I'm really impressed with Portugal in regards to them taking care of their heritage and keeping all this awesome stuff that they have here, for the general public to look at and to take pride in, the history of their country and things that they've accomplished and see what's on in the future for them. So they will limit the number of visitors to the actual palace itself. Like I said, it's a 30-minute entry times that you can get in and out of the palace. But if you go there on a busy time, you'll see why they limit it because it can get packed on the inside the actual palace itself. So, like I said, it has these beautiful, almost like rainforests, or maybe it is a rainforest. but most of everything there is cool architecture, um, water pools. That's actually water underneath that moss or whatever it is right there. There's water underneath there. The sun would come out every once in a while while we were there, so it makes it even cooler. But even on the overcast day, it was a great day. I have nothing but good things to say about this area. And I'm not really big into places where you got to buy tickets like that all the time, but I'm in Portugal and there's certain things I want to check out. I wanted to check out the Templars Castle. So that was a big one for me. And then I want to check out Pena Palace. And once we started actually driving, the first day we didn't really drive when we were in Portugal, but once we really got the car out on the highway and started driving, we realized that we really like Lisbon, but Portugal itself is a beautiful country and there's a lot to see. It's easy to drive in, and even in the city, it was no problem getting around in Lisbon. The traffic, even with so many people that live there, was not as bad as I believe, honestly, other American cities I've been to. So that was really great. So finally, it became our time to. It was our time to actually enter the palace. Waited in line, and it actually went pretty fast. It moved, and we were at 3:30 p.m. actually entry time. So first start when you start going in, you're going to start taking pictures because it's like, wow, this is really awesome. This is an intact actual castle, and you walk into it. Um, like I said, there's lots of people here, but everything was still moving, so it wasn't a big deal in terms of actually like getting into the palace and having to wait for the ride, like at Disneyland or something, waiting to get on the ride or something for an hour or two. No, it keeps moving. Now, Pena Palace itself, the actual area is 2 million people per year visited this castle in actual 2019. But they only allow 400 people to enter the palace every 30 minutes. So 400 people, because if not, could you imagine like how many times you'd be replacing the floors in that castle just from people walking through it, moisture, all that stuff. The architecture here was awesome, seeing the Portuguese, the Moorish, the variety of different people in different countries, civilizations that were part of Portugal or, had been to Portugal, conquered Portugal. Portugal fought against it. One was pretty interesting to actually see. Now, one thing about it, there's also a bus, the 434 bus you can actually take to travel from the train station to Pena. But be mindful, there can be long wait times with a bunch of people waiting in line to catch that same bus. So you might want to spend a little extra money and catch a cab up here or a tuk tuk up here. So the views were awesome. So the views from actually like the top of the palace and everything were excellent. There were so many of them. Everyone was trying to get a picture of the views or them in the actual picture of the views, seeing the actual other castles in the area and realizing how much history is actually in Portugal was pretty awesome to see, actually, and that was really cool. Um, it's very steep walk to get to here, to get up to the castle from the actual from Sintra itself. So as I said, I really reiterate to people that aren't for sure or do know about their mobility issues or anything like that, catch the bus or catch an actual um, tuk tuk, like I said before. Now, you get inside, as you can see, there's people in front of me, there's people behind me. So, to be respectful, keep it moving. So, I'm getting pictures and all that. I'm trying to be fast in regards to giving people a good view of actually the actual palace itself without being disrespectful to the people behind me and trying and stopping everywhere. And like I said, there's a bunch of people behind you waiting, and there's people in front of you. So, but going through it, you realize that people in this side of the country or in this area of the world, and probably a lot of the world back then, were pretty small people in 1800s. Like you can look at like their chairs and stuff, and like almost looks like kid chairs. I'm guessing people probably on average, a man was probably 5'2", 5'3", maybe 5'4", and a woman was probably around 5 foot tall because a lot of it looked like, honestly, like kid furniture I'd have for my children back in the day. I was like, wow, they were pretty small back then. But the furniture itself was beautiful, of course. Walking through here was real peaceful, even with all the people. In my video, you saw a lot of the palace courtyard, and seeing a lot of it, you're like, well, where's the palace at? Look, it's not just about the palace. It's about the courtyard. That whole area is not just a castle. It's not a place where you get pay an entrance fee and you walk straight into a castle. No, there's a whole palace grounds. And a lot of the video was of the palace grounds because the palace grounds are a huge part of this. And I didn't realize that at first, to be honest with you. I'm like a lot of people, especially people in countries that don't have actual palaces and stuff like that, is you got to take in the whole experience. So before we even got to this, you need to check out the palace grounds and realize, well, this is what this really is. This is everything. So you get in here, and like I said, there's lots of stuff to see. Also, when you're in the palace and if you get hungry or anything like that, they do actually have like a restaurant. You can get wine. There's bathrooms in here, by the way. They're by the restaurant, but there's wine you can get. We actually did. I didn't take any pictures in the restaurant. I was kind of pooped of taking pictures, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, you can actually get nice wine. The food was decent in there. It's cafeteria food, but honestly, I'm not from there, and it tasted better than any cafeteria food I've ever had in the U.S. I mean, like at the zoo or something like that. So, but no, it was fine. So just to be helpful, they do have that in there. Also, take you some water bottles. We what we did is we got actually we didn't even buy any water bottles. There was water bottles in our actual hotel when we got to it, so we of course kept those and we reused them the whole time we were there. So we always had water bottles. Keep you some water bottles and things. Be honest with you, food out of vending machines, and there were vending machines at different points in the actual Pena Palace castle grounds or palace grounds. So there were areas to get like snacks and stuff, and their snacks were awesome. So if you wanted something hot, you could get something hot. If you wanted something cold, you get something cold. So don't worry about that. There are tons of snacks. Just take you some change, and yeah, it was pretty darn painless. Like one thing I've learned about that Portugal is comfort. Like even you don't have to sit around starving, like type of thing. Like, oh, I gotta go find a restaurant. No, if you need something, there's going to be a vending machine or a pastry shop or something, a little outdoor thing for you to get a bite to eat that's actually fairly delicious. So that was really cool. So that was really great to see. The architecture in here was awesome. Um, the entrance fee was kind of expensive for a lot of people. I read in the reviews, but they also tell you on the website they put all the revenue in the monuments in the area, and I think that's really important. So they take the money. So a lot of castles we go to in Portugal would actually you could see them under renovation, or they were doing stuff to them to keep them, operating and looking pretty decent into the future. So that was really good. So it's money well spent because I read a couple of reviews and people thought it was a little more expensive, but it funds and it attracts tourism, which brings jobs and puts money into the local economies in those areas of Portugal, in those different states of Portugal. It will take you at least 2.5 hours, and it could be much longer to actually get around the castle itself. And that's the castle because the staterooms interior takes 40 minutes, a lot of times 40 minutes to an hour to walk around. And then it's going to take you another good 30 minutes to actually walk around the castle, the outer parts of it. So that was really great. And then 15 minutes if you did a straight walk to the palace. So once we were done, we took the walk back. We walked back. We got a little lost on our way back, so the tuk tuk dropped us off on the opposite side, and we were like, "Oh, it would be easy to get to our car." It actually wasn't because we had to find a way to get over the train tracks. Ultimately, we did. It was cool walking around Sintra, cute little city. We had a great time. I recommend you go check out this castle. To be honest with you, go check out this city. Portugal has so many beautiful things to check out. I love their cities. I love their towns. I love their food. It's just a great place to go. Um, there's a good when it is busy, it's a good busy. I don't know how to explain. It's just it feels good to be here, and it's a great place to visit, to enjoy yourself, to unwind, and to eat good food, drink good wine, and just relax. And nice people. Anyway, go check out Pena Palace. Go check out the castle grounds. Don't just go there, pay the entrance fee. Actually walk around the castle grounds. Anyway, this is Frugal Panda. I want to thank everyone for watching. I have a ton of videos I got to try and get out. And once again, get out there, explore the world. There's so much to see. It opens our eyes to different things and help